Good morning to you all. Brian here at home, and I got a question from Josh, the truck driver that asked the last series of questions. He kind of asked a question about equipment. He asked a question about dumbbells. He didn't really ask a question so much as he mentioned that some other truck drivers had the weights that I've shown in the videos. And he made a comment about it, and this got me thinking about doing a video on some pieces of equipment that truck drivers would do very well to have in their trucks. So this video is about what pieces of equipment would be very beneficial for truck drivers to have in their trucks, and really for anybody trying to create a budget home gym. With what I had here, you can train every muscle that you want to train, either with slow motion reps or with time static contractions and static holds, which I can show you in a minute. So to start, let's take a look at the power blocks, the weights that he found so interesting. So power blocks are an adjustable dumbbell set. What you get is you get this handle. This particular one that I have is the Sport Block, and this goes from 3 to 24 pounds. They also make a version that goes from 5 to 10 pounds in 5-pound increments, and they make one that goes from 10 to 90 pounds that goes in, I think, 10-pound increments. I don't own that one, so I can't be sure. And there's ones that go even higher than that. But what you get is you basically get a handle, and you stick it into this rack of plates, and you take your selector pin, and you select how much weight you want. Bam. You stick that in there, and when you pull it out, you get however many plates you chose, and this is 6 pounds. Do your exercise with really crappy form. Put it back in, drop it, and let's pick up 15 pounds. And now you're all set with 15 pounds. And of course you can go the whole hog, pick up all of them, and now you've got 24. And I don't think I have to tell you how versatile that is. I mean, they're basically dumbbells. Anything you can do with dumbbells, you can do with power blocks. And they're held magnetically. So if you look at this, they clip and they're magnetic. See, I pulled it out just a little bit and one of the edges fell, but it still holds. And that just doesn't happen. I mean, you can do all kinds of crazy, very not good things to do with your weights, and it's not going to pop out because the pin is magnetic. You see this? If it gets too close, bam. So it's magnetic. All these things are magnetic with the pins, so they're not going to fall out. If you turn them upside down, the pin's not going to fall out, so the plates are not going to slip off and hit you. And for example, there is another set of adjustable dumbbells made by Bowflex. They're called SelectTech, and a lot of people have reported that the plastic weights that are in the SelectTech 550 and the other one that gets the SelectTech like 1090, a lot of people have reported that the plates will come out, will fall out, and I really wouldn't recommend using the SelectTech just for safety reasons, because if you're doing a set of heavy dumbbell presses and one of those plates falls out and hits you in the head, you're going to hate life. So do not buy the SelectTechs. I think the power blocks really win. Another benefit of having adjustable dumbbells like these, and by the way, if you work for Prime, I do believe in the Springfield terminal in the store, I do believe they sell a kind of adjustable dumbbell. I don't know how good it is. I don't know what brand it is. It may be they may be power blocks. I don't know. But if you're interested in trying an adjustable dumbbell set, I think the Prime terminal does carry them and will gladly sell them to you at considerable expense. These things are not cheap. These 24 pounds are about $150, and the 10 to 50, I believe they run somewhere around $350. Now I got mine off Craigslist in a package deal. So I got the 3 to 24s and the 5 to 50s. I got them for about $400, and the guy threw in the bench, and the guy threw in stands for both of these weights. And the stands do not come with the weights. You will only get the weights. The stands are a separate purchase, and they're about $129 a piece plus shipping if you get them on Amazon. So I got an amazing deal. I got over $1,000 worth of equipment for about 400 bucks. So I'm really happy about that. And if you're interested in getting some power blocks, I would recommend that you look on Craigslist in all the major cities. One of the advantages of being a truck driver is that you're mobile and you go to all the major cities. And if you find someone who has these types of weights, send them a message and ask them if they will bring them to you, to wherever it is that you are, or if you stop in a truck stop, take a taxi cab and go to them. You might pay a few bucks, $30, $40 maybe, for a cab. That's a really expensive cab, but you're going to get yourself a great piece of equipment that's going to put you in good stead. Every muscle you want to train, every major muscle group you want to train, you can do with these power blocks. But enough about the power blocks. Let's talk about some other things that you should have in your truck. And let me just check where we're at on time. So we're 6 minutes in. So another piece of equipment that I really recommend everybody have is one of these Gold's Gym pull-up bar. Now, they just hook up inside the door frame, and they hang off the door, and they fall into the door frame. So I'm sure you've seen these. I'm sure you've heard about these. These things are awesome. And you might be saying, Brian, that's stupid. I can't get into a truck, or I can't hook that into a truck. Yes, you are absolutely right. You cannot hook this into a truck, but there are some truck drivers who get hotels, or who find themselves with a broke truck and they're waiting on repairs, or find themselves in a truck stop where there's sort of like a private room for the showers. So like there's a door, and then there's like another door inside the shower compartment. You can hang this inside and you can do pull-ups off here. And you can also use another piece of equipment that I'm going to show you, and you can tie it to this so that you can do like pull-down exercises and body rows, which I'll show you in just a moment. But I do recommend that everybody have a pull-up bar. It's about 20, 30 bucks from Walmart, depending on where you're coming from. Another piece of equipment that you really should have is a yoga mat. I think the yoga mat is really important, not only to lay on it and to do yoga or do stretching and to lay it out on like the truck stop parking lots can be kind of nasty. You may not want to come into direct contact with it. So you lay it out and you can do your exercises on that. But it's also useful for doing what's called time static contraction. And I'm going to show you just a few time static contractions, or one of them that you can do. So let me make sure that I can be seen. Just bump this down a little bit. Bump down my camera. We're about 8 minutes in, that's great. So this time static contraction is called a row, a simple row. And so one of the exercises that's really important to do, one of the planes of movement, is that you want to be able to do some kind of horizontal pulling motion. And usually this is a row, such as you lay under a hip height bar, you reach up, you pull yourself up to it, and you lower yourself back down. It's not a pull-up. A pull-up is a pull in the vertical plane. This is a pull in the horizontal plane. And so you may go to a gym and you may see like a compound row, seated row. You may see people doing bent over rows with barbells where they reach down, they grab, and they pull up. Or they take dumbbells and they'll pull up like this. Or you'll see guys over on the bench and they've got sort of like one leg up and they're doing this goofy thing. This is a pull in the horizontal plane. But like, what if you don't have dumbbells? What if you don't have access to a gym? Is there a way that you can perform these rowing movements? And there is. It's called a time static contraction row. And basically you lay down like so, and it helps to have a yoga mat for this, because what we're going to do is we're going to set our elbows here, and we're going to lay back, we're going to pinch our shoulder blades together, we're going to drive our elbows as hard as we can into the ground. And time static contraction generally happen in stages. Like the first 15 seconds you push at 25% of your max effort. The next 15 seconds you're going to go 50% of your max effort, The next 15 seconds, a little harder, you're going to contract with 75% of your max effort. And then for the last 15 seconds, you're going to contract, quote, as hard as you dare. You don't want to pull anything. But this is a time static contraction. You're basically contracting your muscles against an immovable object. And this is a way that you can train the target muscles without having to do any kind of reps and without specialized equipment. And time static contraction can be very effective, but it's based very, very much on your effort. You will get what you put into a time static contraction. So another exercise that people often find hard to do, people often find the pulling motions hard to do, right? So like the horizontal pull, well, I can't do any kind of a rowing movement because I have nothing to pull against. I don't have a gym, I don't have a hip height bar, so I can't pull up. I don't have weights, so I can't pull over. What am I going to pull on? Well, I just showed you that you could just drive your elbows into the ground. The other exercise that people find difficult to do is any kind of a vertical pull. So any kind of like a pull down machine or pull-ups, chin-ups, pull-ups, chin-ups. And so you can do a time static contraction for that too. In fact, you can do time static contraction for every muscle group in the body. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take that same yoga mat, and you might want two of them. Maybe you want to sit on one and then roll up another one. Put these up top. You take your elbows, you place them directly over your knees, and drive your elbows into your knees. And again, since this is the time static contraction, you're going to get what you put into it. First phase, slight effort, get the muscles contracted. Next phase, really drive it in there. All right, so we're at 12 minutes, I gotta go. But that's basically what you do for your lats. It's basically a time static contraction pullover. If you had dumbbells, you might lay on a bench and pull like this, and pull over. I mean, you would be laying on a bench, you wouldn't be sitting up. So imagine laying on a bench, right? Imagine laying down, taking your weight and pulling over. You've got a weight and you're pulling over. But if you don't have weights, you can't do that. But what if you were pulling over and you got stuck here and you just kept pushing down? Oh, that's the same thing. So that's a time static contraction pullover movement. Another thing that you can do is you can fold it up, you can put it in between your legs, and you can squeeze your legs together and train your adductors. Where are we at? Nearly 13 minutes here. All right. So the single most important piece of equipment that I think you can have are these. These are suspension straps, and you're going to have to make these yourself. I will make a video on how to make this. You can make it for about $10 in materials, unless you also need to buy some tools to make this. If you have a multi-tool that has a saw, a small saw in it, and maybe some kind of a clamp, you can, then you're going to be set. It's the only tool that you're going to need. But basically, you go to Home Depot and you buy these straps with this belt buckle, and I'll do a video, show you which ones to buy, but it's about a 2-inch strap and it's about 8 feet long. You'll take some PVC pipe, you'll cut it, you'll put it on for a handle, wrap some grip tape on it, and then at the other end, you'll take a knot, or you'll make a bowline knot, and that's your strap. Why are these so valuable? The reason these are so valuable is because you can do every kind of time static contraction exercise like this. Don't have dumbbells, don't have barbells, no access to a gym. How do I do bicep curls? Time static contraction bicep curl. Right? Loop this around your foot and pull slightly using the same time static contraction method. Right? You want to do dumbbell flies, you grab here and you pull. And you just try to lift up. Time static contraction lateral raises. Time static contraction front raises. Time static contraction rows. Loop it around your foot, adjust it. That's too long, so I take my foot and I get it here. Adjust it to where your elbow is just touching your ribs, and pull. Time static contraction row. And you can do this with this. You can take this, tie it onto here, put it up inside the door, and now you can perform time static contraction pull downs, right? Because this is up there, and you just pull down on it. Time static contraction tricep press down, right? You hook it up there, you reach out, you grab here, and you press down, time static contraction. So like every muscle group that you've ever wanted to work, you can work with one of these. The last but not least, we're at 16 minutes in, some kind of gripping device. So these are just some simple Gold's Gym gripping devices. And these, you might be too strong for these. They come in different strengths, different resistance levels. But you hold these and you just want to contract as slow as you possibly can. And this is obviously for your forearms. And if you want to make it harder, move your grip up closer to the fulcrum here. Right? Closing, closing. That's quite a bit harder. You can also turn them upside down to get that same effect. And take your forefinger and your thumb out of it. But I will make videos on training with all these things. And of course, there's also body weight. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats. I mean, these things are pretty classic. So we are getting right in at 17 minutes. I hope that this has been beneficial to you. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.